Hi guys, so today we are talking all about what is going on if you don't look put together, even though you have spent a fair amount of time putting your look together, doing your hair, doing your makeup, and everything in between, and what could be going on there. So one of the things that there are a lot of things that could go on, right? It could be that, there are a lot of resources already on YouTube talking about looking put together. So it could be that your clothes are wrinkled. It could be that something about your hair isn't really quite put together, or things like that. But I wanted to add another aspect to the conversation, and that is your bone structure type. So something that could look put together on one person could actually look really casual on you. And this is mostly about, if you haven't heard of this, this is mostly about the body type. So it's about the Kibbe body type, or if you're familiar with my work and my channel, the body geometry types. And so the types that are going to look really put together in tousled hair, in sort of more baggy silhouettes, are going to be beveled, of course. So beveled is the body geometry type, and the closest Kibbe type to that is basically natural. So if you're a natural, you are going to have no trouble actually looking put together. A lot of people think that naturals are more casual, and the thing is that it's a little bit tricky to think about. Naturals are more casual in terms of what they will put on to look a certain level of dress. So tousled hair on a natural is not going to look messy. It's going to look just right. So actually it's the naturals who have no problem looking overdressed, even way too put together, way too stiff, way too polished. And they're the ones who can do the tousled hair. They're the ones who look just right in maybe a slightly oversized button down with a front tuck, with all of that bagginess and sort of an unconstructed silhouette to their look. And if someone like a blended type or a classic, like a classic type, puts that on, even if they spend a lot of time doing their hair tousled just right, and they iron their shirt, that front tuck you front tuck into your pants or into your skirt or anything like that is going to look messy on you as a blended type or as a classic, no matter what. So no matter what you do, that's going to start to look really quite messy on you, and you're not going to know why, because this is like, you've ironed your shirt, you've done your hair, you've done your makeup, you have a head to toe look and everything, you do that front tuck, and you're like, why do I look messy? But someone else who is probably a natural or a bevel type actually looks really, really chic in that, really like they've put a lot of thought into their outfit, but not in a way that is, like they're overdoing it. So it's going to look just right on beveled, and it's going to look messy. That same look is going to look messy on blended or classic. So what to do? So there are other types that I'm going to go into, and sort of what the other types that you could be if you still struggle with looking put together. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are a classic or a blended type, and to go into everything that you could do is a little bit beyond the scope of one video. It's actually, it's a lot of content on my channel that you can take a look at. I'll leave some links down below, and it's going to depend on your type, on your body type, on your bone structure type, what you're going to do to look put together, and sort of what your line recommendations are. How do the lines of your outfit, the lines of your silhouette, the lines of your hair work with the lines of your bone structure and the lines of your body? So that is going to be a topic that you definitely could explore if you are sort of confused about this phenomenon that you never look put together. It could be something like that about your bone structure. And if you're still confused, then I offer body typing through my website and color typing as well, and I'll leave a link to those services down below. So the next types that you could be, I should probably offer I'll offer a tip if you believe that you are blended. If you believe that you're classic and you still don't look put together, it's probably because you don't have smoothness to your silhouette. So what does that mean? It means that even though, imagine the front tuck of a shirt, it has folds in it, it has jagged edges, sort of. If you try to draw that outfit, you're not going to have very smooth lines because of that front tuck and how it's making the shirt bunch up. So what you want to do is you want to avoid things that bunch up. You want to avoid things that look jagged on the silhouette. So if you stand and look at your shadow, that's going to be your silhouette, right? So if your shadow is smooth, then that means that you are on the right track if you are blended or a classic. So blended, classic. And the same goes for your hair. So the outline of your hair is going to look the most put together if it's smooth. You know, not over layering, not anything that's an overly blunt cut, but also not anything that is too tousled or anything like that. Tousled hair, or especially like chunky highlights in your hair with tousled hair, is really going to look really casual on you, to say the least, and it might even move into looking a bit messy, you know, a bit messy if you are a classic, if you're a blended type. So you want to focus on a smooth silhouette if you are blended. And a lot of these other types, because blended is, you know, in between, it's a blend of all the types, so this is kind of beyond the scope of this video, but because blended is in between, everyone who is not feeling like they look put together, like even if you're a rounded type, even if you are a sharpened type, you can still use this idea and this tip of focusing on the smooth silhouette, because a smooth silhouette is going to look put together on anyone. It's going to really bring your look together if you are one of these types, even if that's not necessarily your line recommendations. Those blended lines, those smooth lines, the smooth silhouette, the smooth outer outline to your hair can be curly or straight, it doesn't matter. It just means that if you stand and look at your shadow, you don't have all of these jagged pieces coming out. Okay, you want it to be smooth. And I've talked about this before on my channel, so I will leave some links below. Again, you can check out more links and more details on all of this. So this tip is going to work for anyone, right? So it's going to work for rounded and sharpened. So that brings me to the next thing. What are the other types who are gonna struggle looking put together if they don't know about this type of systematic approach to silhouettes, right? And that is going to be rounded or romantic. So that's all rounded or romantic types, and all sharpened or dramatic types. And of course, for classic, it's all classic types. So that means if you're dramatic classic, soft classic, pure classic, if you are natural, natural looks good in tousled hair. So if you're any type of classic, any type of dramatic, or any type of romantic, you're gonna struggle with, you know, looking put together. So if you are a dramatic, so you're like Tilda Swinton, like Keira Knightley, you have those sharp angles to your face, you might want to go, you really want to go for some sleek hair, some more of a geometric look to the hair. You really want to stay away from tousled hair unless you're doing it very intentionally. And you also want to focus on, again, just smooth, straight lines in your case. If you have more of those geometrics, you might want some straighter lines. And then if you're rounded, it's kind of the opposite. If you have some softness to you, you know, you're like Marilyn Monroe, you're like Sophia Loren maybe, you know, if you have some softness, you in general want to go for more of those kind of oval shapes, kind of maybe some softer hair, maybe some rounded shapes to your hair, and things like that. So those things without tousled hair, without jagged edges, just smooth round shapes. And so if you're like Sophia Loren and you have bigger bones and you have big round shapes to you, like you're really sort of curvy maybe, or you look really soft, you want to go for big round shapes to your silhouette. And if you are like Marilyn Monroe, you have small round shapes to you, you might want to go for small round shapes to your silhouette. Okay, so there's a lot to consider here. The smooth silhouette thing is going to work for you right away if you're like, you know, you might not have time right now to go down the rabbit hole. The smooth silhouette thing is gonna work for you right away, and you should definitely try that if you're struggling with looking put together. And then you're going to really take your look to the next level if you really understand your type, understand your line recommendations, because the smooth silhouette is sort of just the beginning. And you know, you can sort of take things to the next level if you really understand how silhouettes work with your body type, with your bone structure type. Okay, so I think I've covered everything. I hope I've covered everything I wanted to say. Let me know, you guys, in the comments how this resonates with you. Is this something that you've struggled with, and what's your type? If you're old on this channel and you already know your type, you know, what is your type, and leave some tips on, you know, what you do to look put together. Okay, so that's it. Leave me a comment and I'll leave a link to all these videos and the body typing and color typing services all down below, and I will talk to you next time. Okay, bye. You guys, I just finished recording and then I forgot to say that, you know, I completely left out, you guys, gameens and mixed types. You guys do look put together with tousled hair and some jagged edges to your silhouette because you look good with broken lines. So you are probably not going to have that much trouble looking put together if you are mixed or gameen. You have more trouble with maybe looking too plain because your silhouette is so dynamic, but that's a whole other topic. You know, that's the thing with this stuff, is that, you know, the stereotype is that gameens or mixed types look more dynamic and fun, but actually they have a hard time looking plain. They can look plain without that dynamic silhouette. And naturals have a lot of people, when they first read the line recommendations, they think that naturals are really casual and they're always going to end up looking casual. But in reality, naturals actually have a hard time looking casual. Okay? Naturals have sort of, they always look more dressed up than they are. Okay? So there's kind of like an opposite type of thing. It's sort of like, you know, finding your lines is sort of like finding your clothing size. Just because you're a size small, that doesn't mean that things are going to look small on you, right? So if you're a small, things are going to look just right. If you are a natural beveled type, the beveled, you know, the beveled line recommendations are going to look just right. They're not going to look too casual. If you are, you know, mixed or gameen, this is the same story. Like, things are not going to look dynamic or fun on you. They're just going to look just right. Okay, so it's kind of like finding your clothing size. And of course, if you try on someone else's clothing size, it's going to look a certain way on you. And you can sort of also play with those, you know, with those juxtapositions too, but that's also a topic for another video. Okay, so now I'm going. Leave me a comment and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.